Living a soul-based life. How to shift your paradigm. What happened to you as a result of a world turned upside down with the COVID-19 pandemic? There's not one person on this planet who has not been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, whether you are well or ill, wealthy or poor, in communities or isolated. Your life has been changed in some profound way by the pandemic. Businesses were forced to close. Schools closed. Jobs were lost, some forever. Daily life changed dramatically. People got sick and millions died. And the pandemic rages on, mutating periodically, even though we now have vaccines that can save lives. Things are far from normal, whatever that was to begin with, and probably never will be the same again. Because most communities required people to stay at home during outbreaks and surges, it was both a frustrating and liberating experience. Frustrating because we didn't want this. Liberating because we found hidden blessings in it. We had more solitude than we have ever had. And even though we may have hated being forced to spend this much time alone, it had at least one silver lining, besides keeping us safe from exposure to the virus. We got to do some deep soul searching. We had time to think about our lives and the meaning of life. We got to take another look at who we are as individuals and as people connected to one another in ways we hadn't thought about before. So, how was it for you? How did it force you to face things about yourself and your world that you never expected you would? What changed for you as a person? How did having so much time apart from your usual routines impact you? What did you do with all that time? Each one of us will have a different story. That story might start with how I survived the pandemic of 2020. If you haven't gotten your t-shirt yet, you're probably behind times on that one. And while those of us still here are survivors, that didn't happen in a vacuum. We've all been in this together, while alone. Weird, isn't it? What I'm wondering, several years into the pandemic, is this: who will you be once the pandemic is over? I'm wondering that about myself, and I'm wondering that about you. Who will we be post-COVID? Will you be grounded, confident, eager for something new, or a hot mess? And the biggest question of all, how will you cope until the world is post-pandemic? That day is coming. No one knows when, but we all know it will happen eventually. We're seeing positive signs already. We just need to be able to live the best we can until that happens. But we can do more than just wait and see what happens. If the past few COVID years have shown us anything, it's shown us that we can't afford to sit back and do nothing. With the time we have available to us, precious time, we can and must use it to figure out what kind of world we want to enter once we are at last able to do that. I want to tell you one important thing right now. The post-COVID world is not going to be better unless we are. And that is the reason I'm talking with you today. One thing I did with my COVID-19 isolation was write. I wrote a lot. In fact, I wrote several books. One of the books I wrote and want to share with you today is this one: Living a Soul-Based Life, How to Upgrade Your Personal Operating System. In this book, you will learn what it means to have a soul-based operating system and why you need one. How to stop focusing on things that don't really matter and start paying attention to what does. How you can upgrade your personal operating system, even if you have never done anything like it before. Listen, a lot of people are scared. They're scared they won't be able to find work that pays enough to cover their living expenses. They're scared of loss. We've all had plenty of that. They're scared of the emerging COVID variants that keep popping up around the planet, which might mean the vaccines they took won't protect them. They're scared of the uncertainty. We all face those same things. But not all of us are too scared to take effective action to make things better. Some of us are learning new ways to cope, new ways to look at things. And that's making all the difference. In fact, that's why I wrote this book, to give you a path out of the chaos into clarity, power, and purpose, peace of mind and heart, meaning, connection, and happiness, no matter what's going on in the outer world. Because the outer world has changed, so must we. The beauty of it is, we can. My new book, Living a Soul-Based Life, How to Upgrade Your Personal Operating System, shows how. Order now